screw you. Screw you legitimately. Don't mess with me. Get the hell out of here.
Frittata!
Today's story is the funniest one of the year. I'm still laughing about it because I woke up this morning really processing it. And when I think about it, and I mean really think about it, with the help of some THC and alcohol, Dreamcastguy is the funniest person on YouTube. Unintentionally.
My money went to this. This stupid t-shirt that I bought is fucking part of this. Excuse my cussing. This t-shirt also goes, this money also goes to a company that just doesn't care about women.
See, that's where you're fortunate though, because Dreamcastguy is the proverbial crash dummy that we all use to test out these life lessons. All we have to do is witness him do it, and we go, whew, I'm never doing that. Now, before we dive into this story, I want to remind you guys that we are less than 300 subs away from 80K. That's right, we've done it. You guys have single-handedly turned this channel around in the span of a month and a half. And now I'm kind of worried because once I hit that 80K, I'm gonna have to start committing to this whole landscaping shtick, and I don't want to do it. And none of this would have ever happened if I didn't mention to you that I'm Mexican. See, that's the tragedy here. I can't reveal much about my life to you guys because you seem to think it's all just a meme. Forget it. Let's get to 80K. And then I'll worry about the humiliation ritual later.
Come on, I ain't asking for the world here. I'm just asking for an 8-ball and $2 million.
About almost 2 years ago now, I made a video on what was easily the worst PlayStation exclusive of this generation. And that's quite the competition in a world where Concord exists. You may recognize the name, Quantum Error, a game made by the studio Team Kill Media that primarily focuses on making PlayStation titles, but what they make barely qualifies as a video game. They are quite literally Unreal Engine asset flips, and nobody would even bother to give any of these games publicity or attention if said studio wasn't console warring on Twitter. That's right, this studio, leading up to the launch of their game, spent months on Twitter pandering and glazing up the PlayStation fanboy community, telling them that the Xbox Series S and X were too weak to run their game, that their game needed an ultra-fast SSD to load in all those assets and textures, and thus it would only be able to be a PlayStation game. And PlayStation fanboys actually believed it. I'm not even joking you. I have a whole video covering it, so I don't have to walk you through it. And you know what? I'll leave a link to that video down below. It's this one right here. But to summarize it, you had some pretty well-known fanboys that were capping for this game and thinking they had a W over Xbox. Such names include J-Dub, Puerto Rock 77, and yes, of course, Dreamcastguy. Oh! Now, here comes the best part, okay? Because it'd be understandable if we were looking at what could quite possibly be PS6 levels of graphics. Something that we've never seen before. Something that would make everybody stop what they're doing to take a little peek at. But what was Quantum Error actually? What did it look like? Well,
so remember when I told you guys that there was a game that I got early access to that I would not be reviewing because I didn't want to publish a review that was just nothing but negative?
That was the game that I was talking about.
You're a phony!
That's right. It looked like trash. It looked like a complete asset flip. It didn't even look like Xbox 360 graphics. And the developers legitimately had PlayStation fanboys in the palm of their hands, all saying that they were pre-ordering, all buying special editions, all saying they would be there day one. Why? All because it wasn't going to Xbox. It doesn't matter how trash it looked, because I do not know how a single person out there in their right mind could look at this and think, yes, I will gladly pay full price for that day one. The only incentive there was that it wasn't showing up on it. This should seriously put into question the credibility of every single one of these guys. How in the world are you gonna go and glaze up this studio? Because Dreamcastguy was doing it for months, and I have all of it logged right here. So hyped for this game! Yes! Yes! This looks so good! Can't wait to play it! I am so ready for this game! Oh, how does this happen? Oh, you know he wasn't actually excited for what he saw. You know he was just trying to support it because it was exclusive. You had Puerto Rock also make an entire ass video defending the devs, saying Xbox users have to accept that the SSD is too weak. Trust the developers, believe the developers. But how did anybody actually look at this footage, these trailers, which were readily available, which is everything that they were basing their opinions off of, and legitimately think it was gonna be good? Or that what the devs were saying was even true? As it stands, it is easily one of the lowest rated PlayStation titles on Metacritic. Once the game came out, Dreamcastguy went on to make a review, bashing the title, and pretending like he wasn't hyping it up or glazing those devs, and being a stupid console fanboy. And then, a year later, this week, those exact same devs that he was 1 minute praising and the next minute bashing emailed Dreamcastguy legally threatening a cease and desist of his review.
A game company is legally threatening me for talking bad about their game. Their first game is called Quantum Error. Pathetic. This game is legitimately the worst PS5 game I've ever played. It's unplayable. When I woke up and I got this YouTube copyrights takedown notice. The CEO, Thomas Jones of Team Kill Media, the CEO, is personally saying that I am infringing on his copyright, his legal ownership of the game. I'm infringing on it by insulting it.
I can't believe I stuck up for him. I feel like I've been stabbed in the heart.
Call it karma, bitch! Call it karma! That's what you get for conning your own girlfriend and having her pay full price for a PS5 that you sold her instead of just giving her so you could get your PS5 Pro. Look at that. Look what fanboying gets you. Look at the reward that's handed out to you for fanboying. He practically gave them free promotion for their game, albeit he reviewed it fairly, but to me it's absolutely crazy because I've been watching this unfold for about a year and a half. I didn't think it would lead up to this. I didn't think the same studio that got so much love from this very same fanboy community would then try to copyright strike them the following year. I always knew this studio was off with the way they talked on social media. It was almost like JTech TV himself was the CEO. Now, of course, I should go without saying that I'm on Dreamcastguy's side here, and he is in the right, obviously. This is freedom of speech. He is protected by fair use. This is a review / criticism of a product. They have no legal right to shut him down or silence him. The game they made was a disgrace. The fact that they thought they could get that far just by appealing to fanboys is a stain on the industry. No game developer should ever follow in the same footsteps. If a studio is appealing to your fanboy desires, the game's probably gonna suck ass and it's a scam. Hell, I knew it was a scam from the beginning when they said this couldn't run on an Xbox because of the SSD. I ain't seen no fast loading requirements on anything here. This studio is insane. To think they have any right to take down videos of absolutely fair criticism and reviews? My question is, why are companies so trigger happy when it comes to this? Because there are zero repercussions for it. This clear, blatantly obvious abuse of copyright infringement is never punished. Oftentimes you hear about how evil AAA corporations are because they do this, but nobody's ever talking about how indie or AA devs are also just as guilty. It's time we stop viewing AA games and indie games as the darlings and remind ourselves that shitty game developers aren't just shit at making games, but they're shit people as well. What's even crazier is how PlayStation actually plugged in this game on their main channel on YouTube, actually giving it a slot for an advertisement and having their own trailer on PlayStation's channel. Then again, right now, that's a trend with Sony. Just poor decision after poor decision. Purchasing Bungie only to find out that Marathon is a complete plagiarized piece of shit. Concord being shut down in less than 2 weeks after being released. Fair Games showing no good signs of actually being released. Foam Stars flopping. And now this, plugging in developers who try to false copyright strike YouTubers that actually worship them. Not a good look, Sony, but it seems that they'll just take anything in as an exclusive. But now, as I'm actually recording this, I have some updated info that actually does prove that email Dreamcastguy got is real, as Team Kill Media themselves have responded to the criticism of the false copyright takedown of Dreamcastguy's review on Twitter, and their responses are atrocious. Quantum Error 2.0 update. We are almost done with the development of our 2.0 update for Quantum Error. At this point, we would like to ask blah, 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 blah. You know, it's an update tweet. And along comes Monkey D-Tron. Say sorry to @Dreamcastguy. The legal side of our business is none of your concern. Reviews don't infringe on copyright like you guys claim they did. By attempting to use the DMCA system to strike down Dreamcastguy's video, we can see right through the BS. I see you have that same paper.
It's not an attitude, just the fact that a certain group of people, ever since we started as a studio, only want to trash us and to end our careers, of which will never happen. At this point, if certain people want to lie and or make things up about us that are clear fabrications or get involved in things that is inappropriate to assume what is going on, I will speak out in our defense. There comes a point where we can't just lay down and be beaten in the ground nonstop. And I find it very hard to believe that this certain group of people hate us so much because Quantum Error had some bugs and some reviewers didn't like it. We never claimed to be a perfect game. It's only the second game we've ever made, and for what we set out to do, it's pretty awesome. And if it's imperfect, and the thing with the Dreamcastguy video I will not speak about publicly, that is no one's business. But the part I will say is, we are not suing anyone, so I really don't know where people got that from.
You a bitch ass nigga.
Hey.
Fucking hell, talk about the absolute worst PR nightmare to ever happen to a game studio. I mean, if this gets out and bigger YouTubers cover it, this is not going to go well for you. Because many will be able to interpret this as kiss our asses and don't say mean things about our game, or we will request your review be taken down. You cannot be heavily critical of us, just slightly critical. Fuck no, that's not how any of this works. Their clear insecurities here are embarrassing. Like, what person in their right mind would tweet this out to the public? This is only going to feed into more disdain and hatred, and you already can't handle a pinch of it. But this is basically you asking for more. In your entire little man-baby insecure rant of a tweet, you're acting like Dreamcastguy, who gave out the tamest negative review I've ever seen, was being completely unreasonable, unfair, fabricating lies about your game. Call me crazy, but I think this is more of a personal issue on your part, because ahead of time, he was probably the biggest YouTuber that was telling you he was excited about your game. Then it came out, he reviewed it. I don't know if you guys gave him a review copy, if he bought it. Well, he gave a not so positive review, and you took that to heart. Because in a huge collection of negative reviews out there and far more quote-unquote toxic ones, why go after Dreamcastguy? He's the type of dude who sits when he pees in the toilet. It is the tamest negative review you will ever see in your life. And he's the one that you target, instead of everybody else who said far meaner, far harsher things. Again, this is a personal issue, and it seems the way they want to handle it is by completely abusing the copyright system. It's a sad reality, but your game makes Redfall look like a fucking masterpiece. Saying that is not only my God-given right, but it's also my legal right, and it's protected on this platform alongside Dreamcastguy's review. I get it, he made the mistake of being all nice and friendly with you, and then acting like that was never the case. But this is why devs and reviewers should never be friends or rubbing elbows. I don't know if there was any behind the scenes things between the two of you, but this tweet makes it seem that way. But yo, Dreamcastguy doesn't owe you a goddamn thing. He doesn't owe you praise. He doesn't owe you critical acclaim, and neither does anybody else. As a matter of fact, nobody owes you kindness either, or respect. And if you think you can force it, if you think this is a way to get it, you're making the biggest mistake of your career. The only real crime Dreamcastguy committed here was hyping your game up, but his review, his criticism, whether you think it's correct or not, whether you find it to be misleading or misinforming, doesn't matter. It is protected, and YouTube and the law and Google is on his side and not yours, and now, after this, the entire gaming community will also be on his side. I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully this story doesn't break, cause shit's about to get a whole lot worse if it does. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. That being said, on the road to 80K, and I'll see you next video.
Free Congo sucks ass.